Alright, let's talk about the player who was selected with the 28th pick in last year's draft, Xavier, a wide receiver who really kind of found his own, especially late in the year, and just did a lot of really nice things for the Chiefs. Like, for example, this play, in the Super Bowl, there weren't a lot of Chiefs players who played well in that game. Worthy was one of those players. You see that it's a zone coverage concept that the Eagles are in. The Chiefs are going to have their two receivers who were lined up on the line towards the offense's left, run routes trying to get more over the middle, and then the player lined up in the backfield will run a route towards the sideline. And you might be wondering, well, wait a second, isn't this supposed to be an Xavier Worthy play? Yes, it is. Worthy is lined up as a running back, essentially, on this play. Little thing that Andy Reid will do sometimes, that you just get a player who's better at running routes. In that specific situation, it makes sense. When this play begins, you're going to see that there's definitely some attention that's drawn towards those over-the-middle routes, but ultimately at this point, hey, the Eagles, they have a smart defense, right? They're able to read this play. They see where Worthy is on this play, trying to see if they can get over. But this is really why Andy Reid always values speed so much. Watch as Worthy, again, not able to get into the end zone here, but gets very close and turns that into a very good play because he just sort of beats the Eagles to a spot right there. It's not a crazy play, but those little things were a big part of what the Chiefs do and what they did last year especially, and having someone who can help run those routes in very subtle ways is definitely something that's important. Of course, the main thing we talk about with Worthy is his speed, and when you think speed, you think downfield passing, and there definitely was some of that. Now, there was also that weird thing where he kept running out of bounds when he didn't have to, but, we definitely saw his speed really come into play at times. This play is a good example. It's going to be quarters coverage, but sometimes this can actually be a good thing when you're running a deep shot. I've compared this to the bystander effect, which, if you don't know what that is, it's one, if like a crime happens in a crowd of people, a lot of times everyone just assumes that somebody else is going to call the police, so they don't actually do it, and sometimes the police doesn't even get called in a situation like that, whereas if there's only one person, then they feel like they have to call the police, because if not, no one else will. Well, you see right here, that happens a little bit. I mean, the Eagles, right here, both their safeties, who's going to be ending up taking on Worthy's route. Usually what happens on a play like this is that the quarterback just says, okay, great, both safeties are down the field, let's throw elsewhere. But of course, Mahomes kind of knows that he is in trouble. The game's basically over at this point anyway. So he says, why not take a chance? He fires one down the field. Beautiful throw from Mahomes, great route, and again, just goes to show the speed from Worthy. And you have to wonder if this is something they're going to try and incorporate into the offense more here in 2025. Will this be something that they make more of an effort to do? Because they don't do it a ton in, they didn't do a ton last year. Partially, they couldn't block long enough to make plays like this work. We also have something like this, where what's going to happen here is this is going to be a man coverage play. It's actually a blitz on this one. But what the Chiefs are doing is they're going to, again, kind of similar to the first play. First, they'll have a couple of players run out and just try and block here, as this is going to be a sort of a screen pass type play. That's the route Worthy's going to run, which is, again, he's lined up in the backfield. There's multiple players in the backfield here. Again, Andy Reid, I thought, did a great job at scheming up plays last year. Kind of actually an underrated story was how good of a job he did at that last year, I thought. Watch as when Mahomes takes the snap, he does flip it to Worthy, and as of right here, you're going to see that there is a bit of space. How many yards do you expect him to get? Again, I'm not sure exactly where you would place it, but it's probably not going to be as many as he actually does get, because watch how he is able to really just speed through, and he gets nearly all the way past up to the safety, but still picks up a lot of yards. And again, it doesn't seem like a big thing, but for an average player, they might only get like 2 or 3 yards on that play. Instead, Worthy's able to pick up 9 or 10, actually it was a little bit more than that. That really helps you in a football game. That can turn, losses into wins. And for the way the Chiefs operated last year, which was not throwing down the field, doing all this small stuff, it allowed them to be able to still be successful. And also a play like this, one of the real criticisms of Worthy is we all knew his incredible speed, but he wasn't considered a great route runner coming out of college. That's kind of why he fell in the draft, because they weren't sure how good he could be. And, in the Andy Reid scheme, you do need to be a good route runner, right, if you're going to be a great receiver there. So this is a bit of a difficult route to pull off. You're going to fake as though you're going over the middle, then get up towards the sideline. If you can hit it, it can work really well. If you can't, then, you're just going to waste time trying to get open when you could have just ran to your spot. Well, when this play begins, again, you see, he is selling that fake hard. He is not just kind of, going through the motions here, which you have to do if you're going to pull this off. I also find it's interesting how he's going to pull off this juke here, where he's not facing the defensive player. He's actually facing the quarterback. Because watch how he cuts then, and I think because of that, kind of fooled the defensive back he was going up against. And hey, you pick up the first down. Again, it wasn't anything crazy, but that's still an important play. And again, just given how the Chiefs operated last year with how they wanted to do these things, with their kind of dink and dunk strategy, him being able to do this stuff was really valuable. A play like this was another similar example where it's going to be a man coverage concept, and you see, again, multiple routes trying to clear out the area for where Worthy is going to end up going. Worthy is the one who I have circled in white on this play, and watch what happens. Patrick Mahomes takes the snap, and you see right here, again, this one not too fancy, just trying to get to his spot. And it's interesting, right? I mean, there's a defensive player who can try and make a tackle, and this really just does go to show the speed of Worthy. Because watch how while Worthy still has to go back to make the grab, he's just fast enough that he's able to beat. That was Damar Hamlin trying to cover him. And again, when you have that kind of explosive speed, like, it just allows these plays to work that they wouldn't have worked otherwise. So sometimes you'll see a play like that and say, okay, good scheme by Andy Reid. Yeah, Mahomes did his thing, Worthy did his thing, whatever. But like, those little details are what make it bigger. A play like this too is another clear example where it's going to be a one-on-one matchup right here. You see how, just given this situation of they're kind of assuming the Chiefs might run the ball here, there's not a lot on the outside. It's a pure one-on-one matchup. So because of that, look at how far off this defensive player is playing. Part of that is because the first down marker is at the Bills' 45-yard line, but it's worth mentioning as well, it's only second down, so gaining some yards here still helps. This is just because, again, the Xavier Worthy speed factor, right? You have to respect that. So when Mahomes takes the snap, you're going to see Worthy just does what he should do. Just runs a couple steps, turns around, and now he's open, and this is an easy throw and catch. Watch, Mahomes is going to make that throw, and they end up even picking up the first down on this play. So, like, that's just too easy, really. But again, it's the speed of Worthy setting things up and making other things easier. So yeah, that's pretty much what I think about Xavier Worthy. Again, the good thing about Worthy as well, he really showed up in big moments, played better as the season went along, so you hope that he can continue to be that guy and maybe even improve from that towards the, into year two, because he was, especially in the playoffs, was a real nice player for them. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Xavier Worthy. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.